to bump this guy over to also be smaller. Can I open this guy in a new window? I can try doing it this way. My channel. Look, here's a live stream they're watching right now. Okay, so now I've got that loaded up. I don't need you right now. I need you just to have open on the side every now and then. Not like that, like so. I don't need that to be that big. And fighting. All right, I think I'm set. I think I'm all set. Let's see. Maybe I like this one better. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe I'll just do it like there. Okay, now that I've mumbled through my first like 2 minutes of the stream or something, let's actually get started. So, hello, welcome to the 0 people watching so far. That is expected. Last time for the first half hour or so there weren't any viewers, so that is totally fine. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work on my own thing for a little bit, and then once people start showing up, I can go through some of the questions. Which, by the way, were there any questions? Forums.google.com. Were there any questions submitted? Nope, nothing submitted yet, and that's totally fine. You know, I was actually in the middle of recording a tutorial. I think I'll keep an eye on the viewers of the channel, and I'll just start recording the tutorial. So let's do that. Okay. Open there. Oh, we have some viewers. Maybe I won't go for the tutorial. Let me make a new thing, and I'm going to open the project. Hello people watching. So this is office hours. So I'm here to answer any questions that you have, presumably if you hit any issues with my tutorials or whatnot, but I'm also happy to help with any issues you are hitting with your projects or anything like that. So I have, I'm going to be prepping the next tutorial of mine in the meantime, unless there are any questions. And if there are any questions, I will switch over to answering that. Let's see. So yeah, going to clean up my project, make a new branch. Let's see. Let's just go and check out the master branch. Where do I want this tutorial to start? I'll just check it out from here. So I'm going to check out that branch, that commit. I'm going to do git checkout -b to make a new branch, and we're going to call this branch knockback tutorial. Knockback tutorial. Alright. Now I just need to go ahead and clean up my project so that there is as few as possible assumptions going into it, so that people don't need to learn too much about the project before starting the tutorial. GameMaker just updated, as I can see here. It changed some of my files around to account for the GameMaker 2.3.1 update. So if I scroll through here, you can see GameMaker 2.3.1 is there. So I'm going to go ahead and make a commit for that. Upgrade to 2.3.1. Done. Okay. So this is going to be a knockback tutorial. So all I really need is a player and a little enemy to knock me back. So I think I'll just go ahead and make the enemy. Oh, enemy. I'm gonna call it Goomba. Give it the imp sprite. Excellent. Then I have the player, but its current movement is too complicated. So I'm going to set over here and set move speed equal to 4. Then I'm going to go over here and I was thinking about salvaging this, but now I'm like, let me try to get rid of it. To salvage or to start over. So if I salvage it, I'll maintain all of my platforming code, which will make it more confusing starting from there. But if I get rid of it, it'll make it easier to follow. The tutorial will be easier to follow, but the problem there is people will find it harder to apply it to a platforming tutorial. So I guess the question is, if I decide to just do it using left to right code, will it make it harder to apply it when they follow the platforming tutorial? Okay, let's see. I think I'll start with the platforming tutorial. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so that means that I made this from the wrong branch. I should have done it from the pro tips branch, because I actually changed up the way this worked. So let's do this add all and then reset everything hardly. Okay. I think I can do get checkout master, get branch dash d. So I want to delete the branch. Which branch do I want to delete? I want to delete. What should I call the branch again? Knockback tutorial. Knockback tutorial. All right. So now we've deleted that branch, and now I want to start from a different commit, and that is this one right there from the pro tips tutorial. So I'm gonna check out that. Then now that I'm there at the pro tips tutorial, I'm gonna do checkout dash b to make a new branch from here called knockback tutorial. Excellent. And now we can open the project and go back to the cleanup phase. And it's going to upgrade to GameMaker 2.3. So if I do get diff here, it's on GameMaker 2.3.1. Sorry, 2.3.1. And then I'm going to upgrade GM to 2.3.1. Excellent. Now we can clean up the project. So the player should remain the same. Yes, the player should remain the same. Okay. And we're going to need to add a Goomba. Is there everything for the tutorial? I'm already set? guess I can delete these rooms. And this one. Knock back. Which ones do I need? No, no, yes. Yes, yes, no. No, no. No, yes. No, yes. Okay, delete all those sprites. Cool. And that probably screwed up one of the tile sets, right? Yep, screwed up that tile set. I can delete it. Okay. Next, what shall I do? What shall I do? I think that's about it. Yep, I think we're in a good state here. Let's just make a new commit, call this cleanup. And there we go. Okay, I see we have a new viewer. We have 2 right now. So just to kind of review what this is office hours. This is where I'm here to answer any questions you might have, whether it be an issue you have with one of my tutorials, whether it be something you need help with in your own project, or anything else you have questions about, anything tech related or anything really. So in the meantime, between questions, I will just work on my own project. In this case, I am preparing the next tutorial, which is where I'm going to show people how to do knockback when they collide with enemies. And let's see. Yeah, that's the plan. I was actually just thinking, I wonder if I should just record it now. Like, I can record and stream at the same time with the wonders of OBS. So you can still feel free to interrupt me, but figure, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone if I don't have anything else going on? Especially because I think this tutorial is going to be a pretty short one. Okay. So let's try that out. I think I'm actually going to make a little object for the Goomba here. I'm going to call it OGoomba. Because making these objects in the tutorial probably feels like a waste of time for people. So I should probably get in the habit of doing it beforehand. Let's add that and then amend it. Oh boy. Yes, that's right. My terminal's frozen. All right. Do I have a pretty good idea for what this is gonna look like? I think so. Okay. I'm just going to start recording this then. So I'm going to go into OBS, hit start recording, because I can do that, right? I can stream and record at the same time. Lovely. All right, let's go. Hello YouTube. Oh. Hello YouTube, I am Arend Peter. Today I'm going to be showing you how to add knockback to your platforming game. So you can see the final result on the screen right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So you can download the starting project from the link in the description. That'll also include the ending project as well as credits to all of the art assets here. So if I go in to show you what we got here, I have a handful of sprites, some tile sets to go along with those sprites, some rooms. This room needs to be cleaned up. And just do this real quick. I'm gonna start over. So let's stop the recording and we'll start over. So for those of you watching the stream, this is probably not that fun to watch, but if we want to change that, ask me a question. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll just go ahead and add some of these guys to the room. Let's add the player. Instances layer. Add the player and the Goomba, and then flipped. I actually really like this checkbox. Excellent. Okay. Let's try this again. Hello YouTube, I am Arend Peter, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to add knockback in your platforming game. So when you get damaged, the player will jump backwards, like you can see that it's hurt for a little bit. So you can see the final effect on the screen right now. If you refer to the description, you will find links to the starting point and ending points of this project, as well as credits for all of the art assets I'm using. So if I jump into what my starting point looks like, I've just loaded some sprites. I've made tile sets for those sprites. If I go into the room, I've made this RM knockback, which is just, for the most part, aesthetic, but I've also thrown in some objects with my player and this enemy, but they're all pretty empty. Goomba is the thing we're going to be knocked back against. The solid is just solid. The player's a tad bit more involved, where I've implemented some of the basic platforming code. If this makes sense to you, we can just continue on. If this doesn't make sense to you, then you should check out my platforming tutorial, and there will be a link, a tag or something on the screen now for that, as well as in the description. All right, so sorry. So when the player collides with the enemy, which I'm calling Goomba because I'm using that for a Goomba tutorial as well, but when it collides with, we'll just call it the Goomba, I want it to have a hurt variable that's set to true or false. So we're going to create a variable called is hurt, and I'm going to set it to false initially within the player. So if I go back to the step event, I need to add an interaction with the Goomba, which doesn't fit into my horizontal or vertical movement section. So I'm just going to make a section for Goomba interaction. Goomba interact. And then I need to make a little if statement here to check when we're colliding with it. Okay, so if we're colliding with it, we want to set that is hurt variable that we made earlier. I want to set that to true. Okay, cool. And then if it's set to true, we want our behavior to change somewhat. So for now, we're just going to say it's like a disable when we're hurt. So if we're hurt, I don't want this input logic to go through anymore. I don't want to react to keyboard events. So I'm going to say if is hurt, do one thing, otherwise respond to keyboard. And you know what? I'm going to make this facing logic also only happen when we are not hurt. So if we go ahead and run the game and see how that looks, what I expect to happen is I collide with the Goomba, our hurt variable gets set to true, and then we can't move anymore because, we're hurt. So I'm going to do that, and interesting. Okay. So that kind of worked. So right now I can no longer move the player, and that's because our dx never got set to 0. So our dx stayed positive and kept the movement from the left and right logic. So anyway, that's still a validation that this works. So let's do what we actually want to do. So what I really want to do is I want to bounce back. So I'm going to say dx equals negative dx. Actually, this initial bouncing back should happen when we're initially hurt. So I'm going to throw that in here when we were initially hurt. So we get hurt, and then we get bounced back using this dx equals negative dx here. Another little thing to note here is we want to make sure this doesn't trigger over and over again. So the way we're going to do that is we're only going to check for this collision if we're not already hurt. So if not is hurt, and we're meeting the Goomba. Cool. So now we're going to hit the Goomba, we're going to bounce back, and then back over here, we want to get slower over time. So that involves friction. So I'm going to make a variable here. I'm going to call it knock back fr. I'm going to set equal to point. Let's go with 0.9. So here we're going to say dx times equals knockback fr, and then after that, let's see. So now our horizontal speed flips. Here we are slowing down over time. If it gets below a certain speed, if ABS dx is less than 1, then we want to be no longer hurt. So we've knocked back, we've regained control. We're no longer being knocked back, so we regain control. So now we're going to say is hurt equal to false. Note here, this ABS is really important because we can either hit a Goomba to our right and be knocked back to the left, or hit a Goomba to the left and be knocked back to the right. So we don't actually know what the dx is positive or negative, but we do know that's getting closer and closer to 0 because this friction is being applied. So that's why we have to take the ABS here before we check if less than 1. Okay. Oh, you need an equals sign. Duh. That's why that error is happening. Okay. So now if I play it, I would expect this to work. Lovely. So that was like a super quick code change, but it feels pretty satisfying. So I hit the Goomba and then it just bounced me back. And I got that friction constant looking good at the first place, which is also pretty nice. Yeah. I also kind of liked having this facing logic in there, but we don't necessarily have to have it in there. That might be like more of a stylistic decision. Let's see if we pull this facing logic outside of the if statement. So now we're going to apply this scaling regardless of whether we're hurt or not. Boom, boom. I don't like that as much. You could do it. I don't like it as much. Okay, gonna move that spacing logic back into the input. So if we get hurt, we lose all control. We can't even change where we're facing. Okay, so that's that. And really this could be the end of the tutorial, but I don't really believe in short tutorials. That seems to be my new philosophy, even though short tutorials are probably better. So I seem to always want to add something at the end, and today is no exception. So This is, I suppose, a common pattern. You want to add a new feature to your game. You create a new Boolean variable for the feature saying, am I using this feature? Am I not using this feature? Then you go into your code. You figure out what you want to disable during that feature, this section, and you figure out what you want to enable, this section, and you can just say, if we're using that feature, use the logic A or B. This is common. And this is probably the fastest way to implement any one feature, but as your features add up, as you get a whole bunch of these variables like is hurt, is powered up, and all that yada yada, it tends to get kind of complicated. It gets tricky to manage all those flags. I'm calling these flags. So you have to, when you have like 10 of these, it gets tricky to manage it. So let me go ahead and give you an example. I was once making a fighting game, and there was a variable for kicking, and there was a variable for punching. So we'd always have to make sure that we turned the one off before we could allow for the other one. And then we'd end up with this weird logic where whenever we wanted to punch, we'd have to say, make sure I'm not kicking or something. So, and that chain gets longer and longer. So if you want to punch, you have to do a check where it say, if you're not hurt and you're not kicking and you're not dot, 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 dot. It gets really long and complicated. So here is my alternative suggestion. Instead of having a flag here, I'm going to have a state. Okay, I'm going to set state equal to hurt, essentially. But hurt is not a variable. So we're going to be creating an enum to represent our states. So I'm going to create an enum, call it, I'm just going to call it states, I think. No, I'm going to call it player state. There we go. Let's do that. So we're going to create enum. I'm going to call player state, and then here we can list all of the states. So I'm going to have the first one be called in control. Then the next one's going to be called hurt, and then you can create another one and just keep listing them here as much as you like. So then here I'm going to set state equal to player dot in control, because that's what we're going to start off with. Player state that in control, player state that in control, and then we get rid of is hurt. All right, so now we can change all of our is hurt checks over to player state checks. So here, when I say not is hurt, what I really mean is the state equal to player state dot in control. And then here, instead of saying is hurt equals true, we're going to say state equals player state dot hurt. Okay. Then over here, when we set is hurt equal to false, what we mean is move back to the in control state. So we're going to copy this guy and then remove an equal sign to make it a set instead of a check. This one needs to be hurt. I think we got everything. I'm just going to do a quick control F, look for is hurt, and I don't see anything. Excellent. So that's a pretty simple refactor. Oh, okay. And now I want to make an adjustment here. So right now we're using if statement, but if with the state, I recommend using a switch statement. So we can say switch state, and then we can add all our cases. So I can say case player state dot hurt. Then I can end that case. Then I can say case player state dot in control. And then I can add this logic up there. And then I can add a default. Okay. So let me just go ahead and explain how switch statements work, just in case you don't know. A switch is kind of like an if statement, But with if statement, you can only have like two clauses. You can have the if clause 1, else clause 2. You can kind of switch between those two situations. A switch statement can do many more than that. So depending on what this variable is, it can go into any one of these clauses. So if the state is equal to the player hurt, it'll execute this code. If the state is equal to player in control, it'll execute this code. Something very important and a gotcha with switch statements is once you're finished with the code, you have to add this break at the end of each of them. And then additionally, you can have a default clause where if it doesn't meet any of these specific ones, it'll fall under the default section. So in our case, if we hit default, we shouldn't ever be here. But if we do end up here, we kind of want to know, like, if there's an issue in our logic where it ends up in this state, we want to know that that's happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw an error. And you're going to have to bear with me for a second, because I'm not actually sure how to do this right now. Throw. Okay, gotta download the manual to figure out what's happening, how to do this. Alright, so now let's look at throw. Another note for those watching on the live stream, this is office hours. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask away. In the meantime, I'm just going to be recording my next tutorial to kind of, kill two birds with one stone. Okay, so right now I'm trying to figure out how to do throw, because I haven't done this regularly, because it's a fairly new feature. Okay, throw expression. It's pretty simple. Alright, let's just start over. Okay, so for this default case, we're going to do throw, and we're going to say invalid state. There you go. That should be all we need there. So let's go ahead and give that a shot, see if it still works the way we expect. So now when I collide with the Goomba, it still works as we expect. I lose control temporarily. Beautiful. Okay, so hopefully you see the value in organizing it this way. When you add more states, it's just a matter of adding more to this if statement. And then every time you change the value of the state, like here, or changing it to player in control, you don't need to set all the other ones to false. You're kind of implicitly setting all the other flags to false whenever you are changing the state, because you can only be in one state at a time. So I didn't have an example prepared for extending this, but you'll find that as you add more, this is like super handy. Okay, that is all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. This is actually part of a playlist that I'm working on, where I show you how to make a basic castle game. I'm showing you the final product of that now on the screen. If you like what you see, there are tutorials for every single feature in that little demo. So yeah, check out the playlist, and I hope to see you next time. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Okay, you've just seen me record an entire tutorial during this live stream. Not the most fun thing to watch, but yeah, that's okay. Let's see, I'm just gonna get a little more footage here to make sure that I have something to work with. Alright, that should do it. And now I can go to OBS and I can hit stop recording. That was a 17-minute recording. That's not bad. Now I had a lot of little hiccups along the way. Luckily, this is a fairly simple tutorial. I'm actually also maintaining a little Trello list for this. How long have I been live streaming now? 35 minutes. Okay. Yeah, my goal on these live streams not necessarily get a lot of people to watch right away, but I want to try and be consistent about it. If anything, it gives me a reason to get on my computer and be productive for a little bit. And hopefully if I establish a trend like, hey, office hours every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, people will start tuning in, be a little more interesting. That's the idea. So I have all these tutorials I need to plan now. This one, open a door with a lever, that's half recorded actually, but now this one, knockback, is actually recorded. Excellent. Let's see. Let me go to videos, OBS. So this one's only just recorded, yes? Yeah, okay, so this is gonna be the knockback video. Knockback. Okay. So before the live stream, I was actually in the middle of recording this one. I was hoping to get that recorded beforehand, but I didn't. So I guess I'll just do that now. Completed knockback tutorial. I'm gonna push this. Yes, thank you. Up. Get branch dash A. Actually, no, let's check out trigger tutorial. Excellent. Okay. Let's go back into my folder here. I believe this guy's one I want. Just watching what I recorded already, make sure I pick up where I left off. Okay. Yeah, again, for those of you watching the stream, if you have any questions, post it in the chat. Send it to the office hours forum, which I should probably post that actually. Let me figure out how to share this guy. Share. I don't see it. I'll have to go to one of my other videos, I guess. YouTube Studio. Videos. Ta-da-da. And there it is. I'm going to post that in the chat for you all. Oh, I'm gonna need to copy that and put it in Google Translate because I do not speak Russian. I believe that's Russian. Tad bit nervous. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna post that Google Translate. All right. Isn't technology wonderful? Okay. AT Perla noise. I had this generation feature on my diploma. Oh, that's awesome. So, if I understand correctly, you use this for school, and they're really impressed by it. That's really good to hear. I'm glad you like that tutorial. Yeah. One day I might do more of that. Like, I think caves generation could be cool to do, to add on to the Perlin noise section. I've also seen people do like erosion and that kind of stuff with terrain generation, so that's really cool. If you're interested in learning more about terrain generation, this guy Sebastian Log, he has some great videos on terrain generation, mostly in Unity, but I'm sure you can figure out how to apply it in GameMaker as well. Let's see. Landmass generation. Yeah, this is a great series I would recommend if you want to learn more about terrain generation. Yeah, let's see. In the trigger tutorial. Okay, so we got 3 concurrent viewers. Hello all. Trying to decide what I should try to work on next. Yeah, since I have a handful of viewers, I think I'm going to try to do some more interesting than record tutorials. I was actually thinking about going through one of my next tutorials, like designing it. I feel like drafting is more appropriate for live streams than the actual recording phase, although I'm glad I got that other one recorded. Which one shall I do next? Trail effects, gravity. I'm quite excited to play with this one. I'm not sure when I would record it, but I think rotating gravity might be fun. All right, let's make a new project. GameMaker language. And where shall I put this? New computer, workspace, projects. Oh, I want to do under videos. Okay. We're gonna call this project rotating gravity. Sweet. Rotating gravity. Gravity. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna step away for a second to get water. So let's say water BRB. And zoom in to make that extra clear. Thanks, Jan. I appreciate you saying that and watching my videos. Thank you for stopping by the stream. I got water. Let's see. Is that a Dutch name? Jan? I used to live in Netherlands. And it's always fun meeting Dutch people. Okay. Thanks, Mohammed. Yeah, I'm glad you found those tutorials helpful, and I think it's really great knowing GML. Feels all the creative freedom and all that. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it and you're still using it. Yeah. So, there's 5 people here now. Wow. So to catch you guys up on what's happening, was just about to start a new tutorial, or start drafting a new tutorial, where I'm thinking of having gravity rotate. I'm thinking of, like, imagine one of those like cinematic movies where somebody's on a ship that's going under, and it's the whole thing is capsizing, and then everything in the room is just like going every which way. And there's actually 2 ways to do this in GameMaker that I want to explore. There's using kind of like the more basic features of GameMaker where you're like programming it from scratch, and there's also using GameMaker's physics module. And I want to see how good I can make it look without the physics module, and then maybe I'll try again with the physics module, and it'll look a lot better with the physics module, I'm sure. But you know, there's things like rotations, the physics of rotations, that I don't really want to deal with. So yeah. Okay, let us make some sprites. I'm gonna make a sprite, call it S-Player. S-Player. And then I'm gonna just make him a circle, I guess. Should be fine for now if I edit the image and make it a circle. And you know, a game that I really thought had like a really cool rotating gravity scene. I mean, there's like VVVV, which has like gravity going up and down, but I'm saying like serious rotation. At least I can find it. Limbo. Rotation. Gravity. Rotation. Okay. Let's watch this together to see if it's what I'm thinking of. That's not what I'm thinking of. Limbo game. I'll have to search for this more later. Maybe it's not as I remembered it. Window rotation. Alright, I don't see it, so we're just going to have to do it the way I'm thinking. So, we have a circle for the player. Just going to give it some eyes. Make it white. Make the eyes smaller. Some eyes. Eyes. Some eyes. And a smiley face. Lovely. And then I will make a solid. So I'm gonna go back into the sprites, make a solid. Wait, I just made an object in the sprites folder. Let's not do that. Let's make a sprite. S solid. And then we're gonna go edit image. Gonna just go ahead and make that one also dark gray. Okay. Now I'm gonna make some objects. Objects. Solid. There we go. And make another one. Player. And there we go. And then I'm going to go over here and change the background color to something lighter. So that way I can add the sprites over here, or the objects rather, over in the instance layer. So view management is going to be a whole another can of worms here. Let me think a little bit about how I want this to work. I'll think about that later, I suppose. Yeah, no problem, Twinamy. Thank you for joining. I'm working on this tutorial idea that I was thinking of making, where the gravity rotates and the screen also rotates. So I think that the effect will be like, think about being on. Actually, there's another video I can think of. Magic. Zach King rotation. Rotating room. Oh. Sorry, I'm scatterbrained. This is why I edit things, so that my videos seem coherent. Okay, this is what I want to do. So you have a game where the gravity is rotating, and this, like that. Yeah, so just like that, except a lot less cool because I'm going to be having squares and blocks. But the physics of it is the thing. So that's what we're doing. So I'm just doing the basics of setting up the room right now. What is the room dimension of this? Why does GameMaker have these ridiculous room dimensions? 1280, 720. Did I miss something? I probably missed something. Yeah. I think it should be cool. And I think it's also technically interesting because you have to implement the physics in a more generic way than your standard platformer gravity. So if I go into the player, usually you'd implement gravity along the y direction, then you'd implement something a little more basic along the horizontal direction. But now, with gravity doesn't align with the vertical direction, it makes things a lot more interesting. So let me do set dx equal to 0 in the player, dy equals 0, and then we're going to say grav dir equals 270. So we're just going to go ahead and do it with standard gravity for now, and then see if that works. Okay. Let me think. Okay, and I'm going to set grav equal to 0.5. So let's do, so we're going to have a code section for side to side. Then we're going to have a code section for the gravity. I guess I'll go ahead and do gravity first. So usually you just say something along the lines of y plus equals grav, but now the grav's going to be applying not just in the y direction, but also in the x and the y. So we're going to create two variables for grav x, grav y, set it equal to, so I'm going to be using the length dir function to get the gravity along an x or y. So length dir x will give me length is grav and direction is grav dir. That'll give me the gravity along the x direction. Then we can do the same thing for the y, and then we can say dx plus equals grav x dy plus equals grav y. All right. Next. I guess we need to have an apply movement section over here. Apply movement, check collisions. If, let's see, place meeting. Oh, if not place free, if the place we're about to move to is not available, then if place we're about to move to, which is x plus dx, y plus dy, if that's not available, I'm trying to use like actually literally typing out not instead, just because I've gotten used to writing Python. And also I think this is a little bit nicer, like it's easier to read, and I'm only adding another like 2 button presses, so I'm trying to do that lately. So if not place free, then we need to move contact in that direction. Move contact solid. Okay, so we need to move contact solid in the direction of this dx dy. So I'm gonna say, just make this new variable dir, and I'm gonna call it point direction xy. I know 0, 0 dx dy. That's the direction we're moving right now. So now we're gonna do dir, and the max distance is whatever our speed is, which is going to actually be very similar to this line, where I say speed, and then this is going to be point distance instead of point direction. Cool. There we go. Speed. That should check for collisions. And then, oh, then we can set our dx equals 0, dy equals 0. When in my standard platforming tutorial, I actually do collision checking twice. I do it once for the side to side / horizontal, and I do it once for this one. You know, so I don't actually want to cancel out the whole dx dy. This is something I get for free with doing it along the x and y individually when there's no rotating gravity, but we need to be a little more involved here. So if we're on the ground, this is pretty much always going to trigger because gravity's going to be pushing us into the ground. But we don't want to just set dx dy equal to 0, because then we will be stuck to the ground. We won't be able to move side to side anymore. So what we really want to do is we want to cancel out the movement along the gravity direction. Okay, so maybe just get better to have it be separate. This is tricky. I haven't actually done this before, so it needs to be a little bit more involved thinking it through. What's the best way to do this? So it really also depends what I'm colliding against. If I collide against like a vertical wall, I only want to take out the vertical portion. But I can't necessarily assume that. Ugh, this is really hard, actually. Okay, I got it. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to apply it in a separate code section after all. Collision and apply movement. So now what I'm going to assume is, sure, the gravity can be in any direction, but I'm going to assume that all of the walls are going to be at right angles. So I can check for the collisions along each dimension. So I can say if not, place free x plus dx and just do dx. Yeah, there we go. I'm feeling it now. Then we could do move contact solid. Oh, now I need to do the ternary operator. Dx greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, we're going to go direction 0. Otherwise, do direction 180. Excellent. Max distance is whatever the absolute value of dx is. Okay. So I can do that twice, right? Is that all there is to it? I think that's all there is to it. So I can just make this a dy, do this plus dy, dy is bigger than 0, that's 270, otherwise it's 90, abs dy. Okay, so that's the collisions, and then we can do, then we have to do dy equals 0 right there, and dx equals 0 right there, and then we can apply it, x plus equals dx, y plus equals dy. Excellent. Okay, so we have gravity. It'll also be nice to add jumping later. Okay, now it's, maybe we'll implement those later. Okay. Gravity debug. So I'm just gonna, I may have a way to adjust this gravity direction. Mouse wheel, is that the thing? Mouse wheel up. I guess go up minus mouse wheel down. Just gonna multiply that by 5 to make it adjust easier. I think we have something. So we're not taking any keyboard input. Right now we're just having gravity push us to the ground. But it's not working. Did I forget to make the solid? Probably. Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, right now we don't have any keyboard input. Gravity is pushing us to the ground. But we can rotate gravity to move ourselves. And we're still having problems. Oh, well, that'll do it. I just straight up forgot to add the player to the room. Live streaming problems. Done. There we go. Okay, now let's give it a shot. That's weird. Why did it go to the side? Gravity direction 270, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. These should not be triggered at all because play should be free along all directions. Why is the X the one changing? Okay, I'm going to... Actually, let me add a debug point here. If true, I'll just do it right here. Something is not going according to my assumption, and I don't know what yet. Okay, it's applying along the Y. That is as expected. If I keep hitting play... Oh, interesting. The grav X... Okay, oh, okay. Alright, so... I'm guessing... This is not doing as I thought it would. Because the grav diode is now changing, and this... Like, that feels clear to me because it changed... It changed to applying grav X to grav Y. So if I go here... Maybe this isn't working the way I expected to. I said F12. F11 is what I wanted to do. Oh, I did equals. Where is she? Plus equals. Aha, ha, ha. That's all it was. Okay, so now if I adjust gravity, I can make it go between the corners. So right now, actually, let me try this. Let me go into the draw event. Let's draw self. I'd like to draw an arrow showing where gravity is. Draw arrow is a geometric function, I believe. Yes, it is. Excellent. So we're just going to go ahead and draw an arrow from the center of the room to that same position. Actually, I'm just gonna put these into vars so I don't have to recompute them. Too much typing. That's the center X, center Y. Okay. Yeah. All right. CX plus like there X. For anybody newly watching, this is office hours. So anybody who has any questions about anything, feel free to either submit it to the office hours link or just leave a comment in the live stream. I'm not handling, or I don't have any questions to go through at the moment, so I'm just kind of working on a little project in the meantime. Right now, the project I'm working on is this like rotating gravity effect. So I'm envisioning the gravity's rotating, and then I can rotate the view to make it look like the room's rotating. So that's kind of the idea, and you'll get a better sense for it in a bit. Let's see, so I'm making this arrow 20 long, and right now I'm just making a little debug arrow so I can have a sense for where the gravity is pointing. Just like so. 5, I guess, sure. So this should give me a sense for what's happening. That is a yucky looking arrow. Let's make this more like, I don't know, 20. And let's make this more like, I don't know, 100. Excellent. So now the gravity's down, so we move down. If I move it, it's going to move to the side. And you can see it's still mostly down, so it kind of slowly moved over there. Let me move it over here. So because it's mostly down, it won't move that fast. But if I move it direction significantly, he'll accelerate much faster. Okay. So that works. Ooh. Okay, awesome. Now let's go ahead and do input. So let's see. I'm gonna make this bigger just for making debugging a little easier. Actually, let's make it like 30. All right, side to side. So I'm gonna create a variable for the dx that went if we're moving right. So I'm gonna say right is equal to the grav direction minus 90, and I'm gonna say move speed equals 4. Okay. And then the right dy is going to be equal to the same thing, but with a y there. Excellent. Okay. So if keyboard check pressed, actually I could do a fancy thing where dx equal to right dx times keyboard check right dx, oh no, keyboard check vk right minus keyboard check vk left. Okay, so I have the right here, but I'm handling both left and right with this little logic, because once I've calculated how to move right, moving left is just whatever the opposite of that is. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to make these both plus equals and then start dx and dy off at 0 just to go. No, I don't want to do that. I take that back. Go away. Maybe these should be plus equal. But I'm doing acceleration. So normally I could just conveniently like zero out the dx every time, but then keep the y persistent and keep adding to it. But here I can't exactly zero out the dx dy because it contains both of them. Okay, so I'm gonna create another variable called side. How should I do this? You know what? I don't use this technique very often, but I'm gonna try it. No, maybe not. This is hard. So what I might do is I might add this dx along the sides. I might keep this at add. But then I need to, in order to make that work, I need to be removing the previous one. Okay, here's how I'm going to try it. I don't necessarily like this idea, but I'm going to call it side dx equals 0. I'm going to start these guys off at 0. Side dy equals 0. Then here I'm just going to be calculating side dx and side dy, because I can change on a dime. Okay, and then I can add plus. What did I just do? I need to kill this guy. Okay. Then I can add side dx, side dy to the dx, dy. But I need to make sure that I don't end up just always adding side dx, side dy. So I'm going to have like reset side movement. So I'm going to say dx minus equals side dx and dy minus equals side dy. I don't like this idea of like just adding it temporarily and removing it again, but that's what we got. There's a better way to do this. Silly. I just should never add side dx over here. But then I need to add it over here kind of manually. It's like, I don't like that either. Okay, let's make a new variable called tdx. dx plus side dx. Before making tutorial, hopefully we'll come up with a better solution, but this is what I got for now. tdx. Ooh. This is just temp dx. YouTube's giving me a little pop-up. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming as such. Interesting. Is OBS still going? OBS still going. Okay, I don't know what's happening then. As we were. Stream status is poor. Maybe I'll take this as a sign to end it a little early. But I want to get this working, so let's give this a shot. Okay, so we have our TDX. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. TDX, TDY, TDX. So it's just temporary DX, DY that I can use for this, but that way the side movement won't affect my overall. Excellent. All right, let's give that a shot. Why is my stream status poor? I don't understand. Okay. Oh, well, that's not working. Right minus left. So normally side dx is going to be equal to 0 if I'm doing my math right. I've got a theory. I wonder if there's a problem when the gravity diode goes below 0. No? Yes? Huh. I see the problem. If we hit something, we actually want our dx to equal 0. Like right now, it's just building up speed. Like storing out momentum, and then it's like glitching through the side. Oh, that's not good either. Again, I wish I had a better way to do this. It's kind of fun. Okay. But yes, enough silly, funny business. Let's, does movement work? Oh, kinda. See if I can get it to... Well, okay, I need to add friction to this game as well. Let me add friction. I'll just do that. So now we should have friction. That's a little bit stronger than I want it to be, I think. Let's try 9.5. I should make this a variable. Let's go ahead and make that variable over here. Fr equals 0.95. Excellent. We have friction. Okay, something here is not making sense. Not making any sense. So I'm just going to try and print out my variables to make sure that I'm computing side dx and side dy appropriately. Okay, so I need to, where's the game? Look at this output. So right now it's -4, 0, 0. Does that make sense? Ah, this is supposed to be plus 90. I mean, that still shouldn't matter. It should just like flip things. Okay, I can move. Oh, so I can do it now. I can move left and right. Okay, I think I'm going to adjust my friction calculation. So I don't actually want to apply friction unless we are hitting into the wall hard. Now let's do 0.99. Okay. Just want a little bit. This is already pretty cool. So let me actually change this to ord D. Let's make things a little easier on me. Ord A or D. Then I get rid of all these. Okay, so I can switch gravity. I don't like the way this feels. So I can store up some. Okay. I don't like the way this feels. So normally I can do whatever I want with the vertical direction, but then with the horizontal direction, like with the vertical direction, sorry, for the horizontal direction, I'm supposed to, usually set to 0 every frame to make that work. Yes, I set a 0 every frame to start from a clean starting point, but with dy, or the vertical direction, it's the opposite, where I'm like always adding to it. So I still want to have that aspect of clearing things out because it feels kind of bad to move to the left and then what I was just noticing was I was moving to the left, then I stopped moving to the left, and then I'd sort of drift to the right because I had my DX had some direction stored there. So here, instead of setting side DX, side DY to 0, I want to do something a little bit tricky. I want to set the speed along the horizontal direction to 0. What's the best way to do that? Okay, this is going to involve some paint.net. So let's envision a scenario where gravity is pulling us that way. Grav. Which means that this is essentially our side axis. So if we let's say our dx dy is something like that. This is our dx slash dy. If we're not moving on the side, we want to cancel out this section. Now, this isn't the best diagram. Let me think about this for a second. I think I need to break out the sines and cosines. Lovely. What's the best way to do this? Okay, well, let's just try starting out with something. I need to pull back into my linear algebra and physics stuff, which I don't remember very well. Okay, let's just look up an equation for this. Linear algebra, eliminate tangent vector. I know this is a common operation, I just don't remember how it goes. Linear algebra cross product. Does that tell me anything? I used to know how to do this, darn it. Okay. Find component along component A along B. That's the problem I'm trying to solve. That's exactly the problem I'm trying to solve. Let me see if I can look here. This is essentially the equation I want. Let me see if I can find somebody with let me make a note of that. Component of A along B is dot A comma B divided by magnitude B. Okay. For whoever of you is still watching, I'm gonna try and pull up a better graphic of that. Yeah, the 2 people still watching, because I'm not assuming that my viewers all have taken linear algebra. So let me find a better source for this. I want a picture. Projection. That's the word I'm looking for. Projection. So this essentially does a good job of, I think, explaining what I want to do. So here we have vector A, here we have vector B. So we can think of our gravity as like vector A in this scenario. So vector B might be where we're moving. So if we're not moving horizontally, well, quote unquote horizontally, if we're not moving to the sides, then we don't want to have any movement to the sides whatsoever. We don't plan to have any acceleration along the side axes or anything like that. So what I want, it looks like sorry, I'm thinking again. Mathematical scalar projection of B onto A's. Am I making this harder than it needs to be? So we have gravity. What if I flip this? This is gravity. Yeah, we want projection A on B. So this A represents the just an arbitrary direction of gravity, and then we want to find the component of our movement that goes along gravity. That cracks it. All right. So eliminate side movement. Okay, RSP equals so at the point, this speed that we're currently moving, which is equals dx dy, and this, by the way, is the magnitude b that we're talking about here. Component of speed is oh wait, this is component of A along B. Oh, this is actually opposite. Okay, I thought this doesn't make sense. Okay. No. This does make sense. Yeah, this makes sense. Component A along B. So just to expand this a little bit, the dot product is A sub x times just gonna create a function here called dot. Function dot x1, y1, x2, y2, and we're gonna return x1 times y1 plus x2 times y2. That's just the physics equation for dot product. Okay. Wait, no, that's wrong. This is supposed to be x. This is supposed to be y. There. Now. Oh gosh. Okay. That's it. That's the equation for dot product. Okay. Var d equals dot. I'm going to calculate gravity first. Dx, dy, grav, x grav, y, okay. 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 Next is okay. Then I divide that by the. Sorry, I'm being really boring. Okay, so this will give us the distance of the component of our current movement vector along the b vector being the gravity vector. So we're seeing how far we're moving along the gravity vector, and then we can just set our dx dy to only be that component and cancel out anything that's to the sides. How's that sound? Like, this won't be truly accurate physics, but it'll hopefully like feel right. Yeah. Okay, so calculate gravity. We add gravity. We eliminate our side movement. Then we add our side movement. And now we can change this to dx plus equal again. dy plus equal. Okay, cool. And now I'll add jumping. I'll add jumping now. If keyboard check pressed, UK space, and not place. I'm actually going to do something. So I want to have a unit vector for gravity. But how do I do that? Var UGX unit grav x equals length dire x length 1 grav dire. Excellent. So that's y. So now I can do unit grav x here, I could do unit grab y here. I can eliminate that point distance because the distance of the unit vector is 1. And then over here I can do, yeah, that's right. Okay. X plus unit grab x, y plus unit grab x, y. We might need to make that bigger at some point, but this is fine for now, I think. Dx plus equals -10 times unit grab y dy plus x -10 times unit grab y. I'm going to actually make that, I'm going to put side to side over here. Then I can kind of make this abruptly equal. Abrupt add. Abrupt. This should also be add, okay. Then we can jump this around. Dx, dx, dx. Get rid of you, get rid of you, get rid of here, get rid of here, get rid of, make that dy, dy, dy. I see I have one viewer left after my incoherent kind of rambling my way through this. I think we're really close to having something that's working. Well, that's kind of lame. This needs to be a y, not an x. Excellent. Okay. So we move along gravity. Friction might be a tad strong right now. Yeah, I think friction's a tad strong. What's my friction set to right now? 0.99. Okay. I don't remember it being that strong earlier. Actually, let's take out friction. I think with this new, like, canceling out the side movement, I think we're fine. Maybe I'll even, like, do this elimination later. Okay, now I'm thinking elimination was a bad idea. Okay. Oh boy. Let's set fr equal to 0.99 again. And let's only do the elimination if we're actually moving. So when we move from side to side, I'm going to say if keyboard check ord D or keyboard check ord A, then do that deal. Okay, so now we move normally here, but then as soon as we move here, you go against. Oh. I guess there's 4 clauses here. Okay, try that again. Okay, so we can move left and right. Cool. And we can still move left and right, and it's always like perpendicular to my gravity. Can I jump? Okay. Now let me try one more thing. Camera set view angle. View camera 0. Grav dire plus 90. Okay, let's go into this room. Let's enable cameras. Viewports, enable views, visible. So I'm really hoping it's going to rotate along the center of the view, not the top left, but I'm holding my breath. Oh, yep, it did. Cool. So I'm going to make this somewhat smaller. I'm going to grab solid, and I'm going to do that deal. And then I'm gonna add some obstacles, I guess. I think this should be it. One viewer who may or may not be here, we'll see. Well, it's not quite it. No, it's not quite it. I think I did this the wrong way. So I want the view updates to make it seem like the arrow is always pointing down. So I think what I need to do is I'm going to move this in the opposite direction. Var grav plus equals d dire equals minus Not the cleanest, but I think it should work. Oh, well, we have something. It's always pointing to the right. That's cool. All of that should actually start at 0. Is it like that? Oh, it's pointing down. That's pretty sweet. Okay, let's change this up a bit. Let's what was the other thing I wanted to do? There's something else I wanted to do. What was it? Oh, yes. Let's make image angle equal to also that. Oh, need to make sure it's centered. And middle center. Okay, let's give this another shot. Oh, that's not great. All right, now I can. It's moving the wrong way somehow. This action is equal to grab wire. Grab wire plus 90. Angles are hard. All right, sweet. Okay. So it's sticking to the walls, which is something I don't want to do. Is that because of you? Is it because of this guy? Might be because of the friction. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't like that. What's your collision mask look like anyway? Just make it a full image, make it a rectangle. Okay. Why is it doing that? Okay, I'm not quite satisfied, but I think I can leave it at that probably. So, just to kind of give you guys the final product here. I'm not satisfied at all. Like, I essentially can only do anything when I'm... okay, I don't like that. I can only do things when the angle is a fraction of 90. Multiple of 90, rather. Well, yeah, I'm not entirely satisfied, but I gotta leave it at that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. This streaming is still new to me, and I appreciate every single one of you who showed up. I can name you: Lesnoy, Jan Bonnet, Mohammed Amir, and Twinny I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up for the period that you showed up. Cool. I will see you all next week. Let me know if you have any questions next week. Submit things to the office hours. Yes, stop streaming. Bye-bye.